How can one smoke ships? Sherlock Holmes seemed delighted at the idea of sharing his rooms with me. I have my eye on a suite in Baker Street, he said, which would suit us down to the ground. You don't mind the smell of strong tobacco, I hope? I always smoke ships myself, I answered. A Study in Scarlet, 1887. I don't suppose that Dr. Watson, whatever his other talents, was actually smoking pieces of watercrafts. So what does the expression mean?
Here's a description of ship's tobacco by a turn-of-the-century chaplain in the Royal Navy. Most people who take any interest in ships and the sea have heard of ship's tobacco. It is indeed difficult to imagine a sailor who doesn't smoke, though, as a matter of fact, there are a considerable number of non-smokers amongst us, and a still larger number who prefer trifling with a cigarette to an honest pipe of ships. Some of my readers may have seen our Navy tobacco as prepared by the men themselves, a solid block covered with canvas, round which spun yarn is wound in such a way as to make it like a miniature torpedo. The process of preparation is something of this kind. The tobacco, being served out in the leaf, is first of all wetted, and wrapped up in a bit of ship's canvas, then a line of tarry cord is fastened up at some convenient spot on the deck, and, by a mystic process which I never quite followed, the sailor, astride across this line, works it round the canvas tightly, until the latter is completely covered and the tobacco pressed into the orthodox form. In a short time it is ready for use, and may be sliced off or shredded off with the sailor's jackknife as required. The strength or mildness of the tobacco depends a good deal on the amount of saltpeter used to preserve the leaves. Those who like a full flavor are careful to retain as much of the saltpeter as possible. A medium flavor is obtained by judicious washing, while the mild form may be reached by a thorough cleansing of the leaves. As smoked by the bluejackets it is decidedly full. Rev. George Goodenough, R.N., The Handyman Afloat and Ashore, 1901, page 157. There's a deal more about ships at the link.
It appears to not be a phrase, but a proper noun. Sherlock asks, "You don't mind strong tobacco?" But Watson's response doesn't explicitly answer yes or no. Instead, he replies, "Not only do I not mind the smell, I myself frequently create such an aroma. I always smoke ship's tobacco myself, a style of preparing tobacco which is described as the opposite of mild. Just a possible typographical error. No punctuation, but a asterisk or footnote would be helpful."
For support the channel, please consider liking and subscribing.